Alright guys, welcome back to a video from Squash Tech Gaming, and today the topic is I have reached endgame and my experience. So my endgame experience has been mixed bag to say the least, so let's get into it and find out. So um, I beat Doriani, and in that, I didn't think I had too much trouble with Doriani. So, I mean, I did die a couple times to, his ass lasers, and one time I tried to roll out of his, like, meteor-like strike thing, and I failed. Um, but I've got a short clip that'll show that, and then we'll get into the details. So, here's the short clip where I fight Doriani in cruel mode. So, let's watch that. I'll narrate. So, I go in here. This is the final boss before endgame.
So,
So,
at the eve of the end,
we'll watch
the
this
demon
together.
of Exile has finally come for me.
So he pops out. My culling strike, I take down a quarter almost of his health right off the bat.
Let's see how you handle these.
Not doing minuscule damage, but so almost got him down to halfway there.
Enough of this.
Doing all right. So there he's at halfway,
5 moves ahead.
and so I feel like, okay, this is way easier than when I fought him the first round when I was at the end of the Act 3. So now he transforms.
No, I will succeed. How foolish.
And as you can see, so now he's riding the robot.
Demon of Exile.
Cullen Strike did its thing.
I cannot let my efforts be in
Doing some
vain.
decent damage
you think
here.
You can stand in my way?
So I stun him.
How? Get up! Get up!
So I feel like at this point I was like, okay, this is way easier. I'm doing all right.
I plan
So
for
it has
every
been a while
contingency.
since I've fought him, a couple weeks, and the ass lasers got me. I was unprepared, but other than the one strike or one shot of his ass lasers, I feel like I wasn't going to take too much damage. So I was like, okay, let's try him again.
At the eve of the end, the
So-
demon of Exile has finally come for me.
Put out my totems. Hit him with the first strike for the culling strike. It didn't do that much damage this time, but so he's trying to lightning shot me, but doing all right. So
Progress comes with the heavy
grenading his ass. So he's almost down to halfway.
You will burn. The best laid plans.
I mean, I kind of like this battle. I think it's interesting and fun, but it's been a couple weeks.
This
So
ends now.
I've almost got him down to quarter.
I can't give up.
This time I actually thought,
must save my people.
okay, so we're back to turning into the robot. He's immune during this transition, but I was trying anyways.
There is no escape.
So my colon strike took like a quarter right off the bat, so I was happy with
Let
that.
me show you what true
So,
intellect looks
and
like.
ass lasers. I was unprepared.
Didn't stand
That one
a
was quick
chance.
and easy. So, as you can see, you gotta watch for them ass lasers. So, the third time,
So, at the
I mean,
eve of the end,
I figure watching this will give you an
demon of
easy transition
Hatsuatu
into
has
endgame because this is your
finally
last
come
boss battle
for
of Act 3.
Killing time.
So, Colin Strike took a quarter right off the bat.
sacrifice is the only path.
This is the time I actually thought I might actually, I think, take him down before he transitioned into the machine.
I've had
Need a sec.
enough of this. Nothing can stand against us. I can't give up. I must
And
save my people.
there's the machine transition.
We're here! It happened! It cannot be stopped!
No, I will succeed.
Listen.
Okay,
I'm
The
just
end of
here
the
for
world
the
is
ladies.
nigh.
No need for all this.
this time going through, I was like, I will not get caught by the ass lasers. That was my vow right here. So I was like,
How
okay,
foolish.
keep an eye, staying close by.
One death is
Like, I'm gonna
nothing
avoid
for
the ass
greater
lasers
good.
at all costs.
What?
So I'm making good progress here
Get up! Get up!
as the mercenary, you know.
You think you can run?
So I'm halfway now. I was like, oh, ass lasers. I was prepared this time.
Die.
I was like, you're not gonna catch me.
Nothing will stand in my
Winged
way.
me there, but it's like, okay, I'm not gonna let the ass lasers get me this time.
Leave me
And I was
no
like-
choice.
So I roll out of that meteor strike attack thing, and I'm like, okay. And I was like, oh no! And the meteor strike thing got me. I seen it coming. I was trying to roll to the edge, and I just didn't quite make it. And here's round 4. So we'll give it another shot.
At the
This
eve of
time
the
I
end,
finally, you know,
the demon of
take him down.
Hatsuatu has finally come for me.
Not today.
So same tactic, you know, using my grenades and
The greater
shooting at him. Stun him there.
the best laid plan.
And I'm making real good progress here.
Now,
It's like, okay,
give in.
down to a third.
I can't give up. I must
Okay, here's
save
the
my
transition
people.
into the
You know
machine.
why we're here! It happened! It cannot be stopped!
No, I will
But
succeed.
overall,
How
I feel like this battle is not too bad as long as you don't get one shot by some of those
I've had
mechanics.
enough of you.
You stay out of those, you know. So, oh, he actually hit me there,
You
but
think you
I
can
survived.
run? I've been preparing for you for years. What?
You can see I've got like almost 1,200 health, 357 energy shield there.
End of the world is nigh.
So,
Self-destruction.
I was like, roll out of it. Okay,
This
down
is
to
not
halfway.
over yet.
And there's the strike I was worried about, so I was like, I just got out of there in
I will
time.
burn you alive.
Okay,
Now you're within my grasp.
knocked him down.
I've had enough of you. Existence is merely
Okay,
energy.
down to about a quarter. Stay out of the ass lasers. He almost got me there.
Face
okay.
the might of Exile.
Survived the ass lasers. And that's the end for this guy. So,
How foolish.
alright. So there's Doriani and the end battle here. So
How could this happen?
I feel
All
like,
I've done.
I have some pretty decent damage I can do.
Your people cannot be
You
saved.
know, other than
History
one
is
shots,
already
I
written.
do pretty well health
You can
wise.
stay here and die,
So
or come with us.
I was pretty
and help save the
confident going into
future.
endgame. I was like, okay,
The
doing
legacy
all
of
right.
Val must be protected.
So
I do know of a
there's
way
the
to
loot
contain
that he
the beast.
dropped.
Let's just
Nothing
start
anything
talking
great, but I thought you guys might be interested in that. So as you can see, I'm level 67 at endgame. I'm about to level up to 68, but I'm at 67. So I finished the campaign, level 67. So, and then when I go up to the map device, I click it and I am confused because I was like, this looks just like my regular map. So I was like, if this is my regular map, what is this? I thought this was the map device. So I don't think they lay it out very well because when you click on it, I'm like, where am I supposed to go? I'm searching around trying to figure out. It's like, well, if this is not the map device, like it says it is, do I click on somewhere in here? So I'm searching all around. I sped it up a little bit, but I'm clicking all over. Like, where am I supposed to go? Why is it just my quests? I thought this was actually the like end game map. And I'm like looking. So I click out of it, and then when I click back in, it goes to the end game map. So maybe that's a glitch. I don't know. But it really confused me at the time. So then I'm like clicking around the map, trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. I click on a bunch of maps, kind of check them out, kind of decide where I want to go. I was like, oh, I don't have an actual tablet, so I run back to my chest. I grab a grab one. So I've picked up quite a few through the once I hit level 60, the waypoint or waystones started dropping. I have just that top row are normal ones. Everything else is juiced. And I was a little worried to go into a juice map for the first one. So I've just got a basic waystone, nothing juiced on it at all. I click around. I'm trying to decide which one to go to. I decide with this one. So I throw it in there. And I'm like, okay, I'm a little nervous because I was like, this is my first endgame map. I've heard some things, but, let's find out. So, the blooming field, I go in here. I'm like, okay, okay, this looks familiar. It kind of looks like one of the maps like we played on before through the campaign. I was like, all right.
Lock him in!
So, I know those guys do a lot of poison damage, and so it's like, okay. So I'm using my ice, and then I get a level right there, right at the very beginning. So I decided to go in there, throw in a passive point. I had to go with increased attack speed. That's at the very beginning of my tree. I forgot about those ones. So I go back in. I'm like, all right, seem to be doing okay. So at this point, I'm starting to get a little bit of confidence. I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad. Gear up. I see all these lightning bolts falling. I see the shrine. I get close. I can't click on the shrine because there's guys close to it. I don't know if that's because of the controller or just the way it is. But I don't know what these ghost things that are flying at me. But I'm like, okay, well, I'll navigate around. I'll clear around the shrine. I'll hit that. Maybe that'll help me because I'm familiar with that from POE 1. And something hits me here, and then I'm like, oh no, and the lightning, and I'm done. So I was like, oh man, my first map, and if you see, they are just swarming me. So I was like, okay. So I go back, I go through all my gear, I see if there's anything I can level up. I juice through all my gear, and I don't really find anything that I can add. So I go through all of my gems. See if there's anything I can, juice up my character. I don't really find a whole lot that I can change because, my passive points, I need more dexterity to put anything else in, but I try it anyways. I'm like, search through everything I can juice. So I was like, here's just a fast forward clip. I kind of like dug through. I didn't really find anything I could change. So I was like, well, maybe if I go back on the map, if you noticed, it showed that I had not beat this boss, even though I had beat her. multiple times trying to get that. But I was like, well, now that I've beat Doriani, I went back and it still showed up on my map. So I was like, well, I'll go beat the witch again and see if it goes off. And as you can see, there I beat the witch. And if you go back, and then I clear the rest of the map just to make sure. And nothing. And so I'll leave here. I'll go back to the map here in a second, and you'll see right here. Oh, right there. So you can see that it still shows that I have not beat the witch there, but I have. So I think it's a bug. But I was like, well, maybe if I get a couple more passive points, it will help me. And usually that plus symbol means you get something. But it still shows that I haven't completed it. But obviously I just ran through it again, and I have. So that doesn't seem to be the issue. So then I go back, and I was like, okay, now what do I do? So I decide I'm going to try again. So I throw in another waystone, hit another map. So this is map 2. It's fast forward real quick, but I run through. I'm like really going slow and strategic because I don't want to die. I mean, I'm like, okay, this is end game. I got to figure this out. So, I pick up a couple waystones. I'm kind of going slow and strategic. I feel like, okay, I got this. I'll be all right. So, this is map 2. I failed the first one, so I was like, it seemed like the difficulty had ramped up, but I was like, and then there's nothing, I haven't picked up any gear or anything to make me increase my damage or health, so I was like, alright. So, I'm going real slow, trying to make sure I don't die this time, and I was like, alright, I'm starting to build confidence again, because I was like, okay, maybe I can do this, so I continue. Now, I've played solo self-found this whole time, and I haven't really used a guide or anything. I've just kind of worked the passive tree out myself, doing the best I could. I've watched some videos and, picked up a pointer here or two, but I haven't really wanted to go into actually using somebody else's build. So, and I've made it all the way to end game pretty much by myself. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. But now, after losing the first map, I was like, oh man, maybe I don't have this after all. So I was like, okay, this is round 2. I think I can do it. So, going along here. And I was like, alright, I seem to be going okay. And then I go up in this corner right here, and I slow it back down to regular speed. And then I get hit by that guy twice, and he's also a mercenary, decrepit mercenary. 2 shots, boom, I'm dead. So I'm like, okay, so this is map 2, and I can't make it. So I go back, I dig through all my stuff again. There's nothing really I can upgrade. I haven't picked up any gear. So I was like, okay, let's round 3. Let's see what I can do here. So I tried another one, and I was like, alright, slow, methodical, stay alive, playing defensively. And so cooking along here, and that guy just keeps following me. I'm like backing up. I don't want to accidentally die. And my confidence at this point on map 3, I feel like, well, I've died twice, and I've done everything in my power to upgrade myself. Maybe I don't know something. So, going through map 3, trying to take it easy, take it slow, keep my distance. My attack, one of my strikes, it works better at a distance than it does up close. So, I'm using my ice and then blowing it up, shooting everything. My scatter shot seems to be, you know, doing the trick. So I'm cooking along here. Still trying to beat one map. So I was like, alright, here we go. And they come in big mobs, and I'm finding a lot of monetary value gear, but nothing that can actually be equipped by me. So, you know, picking up what I can, just trying to stay alive. I'm taking it easy, slow, you know, trying not to get pinned down anywhere. And not really finding anything I can wear, unfortunately, but so I'm cooking along here. And as you can see, I was like, well, maybe I missed something down here, so I go all the way to the other side of the map. And that got real close there for a second, but I was like, maybe something in here will help me, you know, do better in endgame. So, staying alive, playing strategically. Okay, I like go through all the gear, nothing of value there. I identify what I can, throw it on the ground. I don't want to leave. I just want to get through one map that I, you know. So, cooking along. And then now I took long enough that, as you can see, it shows up on my map the enemies that I have to take down. So it happens to be way on the other side of the map, of course. So I venture that direction, going nice and slow, and trying to stay alive. So again, I'm going through the gear, I'm identifying, trying to find something that maybe might help me. Because I feel like I'm under-geared or under-leveled at this point. I've been going through it. But I'm staying alive, I'm sticking it out. And, you know, so I'm getting up in this corner and I see that there's a couple grouped together. A little nervous about that, but I was like, well, just take it one step at a time. Yep, and I'm full, so I identify and dump some gear. I kind of cut that out because it took me a while to go through everything. I'm just trying to find something that might help me. So, yeah, and armor is not good, so. Okay, come up here. This is the last one on the map. Popping out of the ground. Okay, taken down. And I finally have succeeded in a map. And identify all these stuff, and nothing is really benefit for me, you know, something I could sell or get some shards off of or whatnot, but not one item I can use. I did pick up, you know, some different gumball money here, but so I leave. I've succeeded. I've defeated one map now, so I'm like, okay, so it can be done. Now I dig through my own gear and I found this pair of boots, and now that I have a little bit of currency, I was like, well, I'll soup these up, and if you want to look at them, this is where I'm going. It's not that much better than what I have, but you know, it has 25% movement speed instead of 15, and it's got some regen per second, which with my amulet would help me a lot. So it only gives me, it takes all my regen away, but it gives me all the health that it would have been 0.2% per one every 4 seconds. So that kind of helps me stay alive. But when I put the boots on, I was short 5 on Dext. So I go in here and I respec a 5 intelligence to 5 dex just so I can put the boots on. And this is not a piece of gear that I picked up during the combat. It was actually just something that I had in my inventory. But and then once I do that, I'm really low on lightning resistance. So I go in here and I quality it up, and then throw a rune slot in it, and throw some lightning resistance in there because my resistance is low. Um, so, and there's the difference between the two if you guys want to pause and take a look at it. So I soup up my boots so I can move a little bit faster. I felt a little sluggish in there. So there's the rune stone, and I end up using lightning resistance just because that's my lowest stat for resistances. So I guess I should have cut this a little bit more, but there it is. Lightning, boom. Okay, so that's the only piece of gear that I've changed at endgame, and it was not even something I found, but... And then I run through all of my skills, trying to find something I can soup up, because I'm feeling a little weak at this point. I go through, I take a couple of the actions that I don't usually use. I throw something else in there just to try something different, because I was like, well, maybe I'm just using the wrong skills. So I do that, and I don't really find anything that I feel like is, oh, the light bulb came on. So I feel like the difficulty ramped up substantially at the end of as soon as I transitioned from the end of the campaign and go into mapping. I was like, all of a sudden I feel like, holy shit, I am not prepared. So I don't know if that's everybody's case. Maybe they've followed a build, or maybe they're souped up and it's easy for them. But for me, I felt like through the campaign, unless it was a one shot or like an on death effect that I wasn't paying attention to, or that I didn't, there was no marking that it was coming. But beyond that, I mean, I rarely die except to bosses. So, with that, I was like, okay, I don't feel sufficient to run these maps, but I don't have any gear. There's nothing, no instructions on what to follow. I'm just not sure what the best method is to advance. So since then, I didn't throw it in here, but I've run 2 more maps. I was successful in surviving, but it was close. I haven't died again, so I only died at the first 2. But I have not found a single bit of gear. I've found some currency that would help me upgrade something if I actually had a piece of gear that was of high value. I don't really know what to do moving forward from here, except continue, or maybe find a review and see if I can change my skill set. I just feel like the campaign was great. I had a good time. I was successful. I got to end game. I get into mapping, and it's like the level went from, here to all of a sudden way up here, and I am not prepared. So that's my personal experience getting into endgame. So I've cleared 3 maps now. I haven't found a single piece of gear that I can add to myself. Is that everybody's experience? I'm not really sure. So, well, that was my experience. I beat Doriani in cruel mode, and I ran some maps, and I feel like I don't have what it takes to really make a venture forth. I have a bunch of juiced maps that I've found along the way, and I've juiced a couple just to, see what happens that were just blank maps. Level 1. I have found 1 level 2 and 2 level 3 maps just going through the campaign, and the couple maps I found, a couple maps I think in each. So I feel like I'd have maps to sustain if I could survive through a juiced map. Um, Currently, I'm not sure about that because I feel um, like when you go through Act 1 and 2 and you're under geared and you're really trying to survive, that's kind of what I feel like is again. So maybe I'll find a bunch of stuff and it will just suit me up and I'll do great. But I feel like if I don't find some gear, I'm not going to make it very far in endgame. Or I'm going to have to go watch a review and change up my setup or something because I'm not really sure what I need to continue, but I feel like I'm struggling. So, all right. Well, if you guys have some suggestions or if you've had the same or a different experience, drop it down in the comments. So, thank you guys for watching and signing out. I'm Kryman, your host. Have a good day.